Here's the proper way to build a mid-range gaming PC in very late 2025 and early 2026. So welcome back at ImWateringPSUs, and here we are with an Intel PC build. But if you guys have seen a few videos on the channel before, you shouldn't be surprised, because the best value CPU on the brand new market currently is the i5 225F. Well, the proper name would be the Intel Core Ultra 5 225F, but I just call it i5 because that's what it is. It basically is a slightly downsized i5 245KF, which you can literally overclock on a locked motherboard, and that's what we've done here today. And to do that, we need good RAM, which, little digression, okay? So I saved money on the motherboard, which I recommend all of you do if you're buying Intel, because these motherboards are overkill for these CPUs. They don't draw any power at all. But then I spent a bit more on RAM and cooler, because that directly impacts performance. Now, in the video, you will see me mounting a single stick of XPG DDR5 RAM, because that's how you know that this video was recorded right before Christmas in 2025 December. Getting good RAM is very difficult. So at first, I thought I had to go with that. But then, applying the tips and tricks I gave in my how to buy DDR5 right now pretty much video, I managed to get some G-Skill RAM for decent price, okay? We are not gonna cover the cost of this RAM kit because it's ridiculous, but it's 30 gigabytes of RGB G-Skill RAM, 6400 MHz with tight timings, which is good for Intel as well as AMD. So I put that in, and then I got a very good cooler. Now, for this build, what I like to do on the channel is go with less popular, less known brands and just unusual stuff. I try a lot behind the scenes, and the one that makes it to the channel is only the ones that's really bad or really good. This one is really good, and we have a First Player TS4 360 Thunderstorm CPU cooler. And now First Player is a massive brand over there in Asia, which is now starting to distribute in the US and Europe as well. I'm from Italy, as most of you know, and I went with them for the all-in-one and the case. The case is the white GM7. I swapped out the fans, stock fans on the cooler. It comes with a monoblock of fans like NZXT does. They're very expensive all-in-ones. And I swapped them out for 3 fans the same size of the case, which to me, they remind me of a better version of the Gamdia's Aeolus fans, the ones which you can swap front and reverse blade, and niche reference, but anyways. They are very good because they have a double ring. So they have a ring, but they also have a ring outside the center of the fan. Okay, it's tricky to describe, just take a look at them. They look very pretty. And they actually cool very well, because the problem usually is if you put case fans on an all-in-one, they will have less static pressure, but those, they are very, very, very good for this all-in-one. And now we have everything synchronized because they have simple 3 pins for the RGB and 4 pins for the fans. So I just plugged all the RGB connectors together and then plugged the fan connectors, of course, the 3 on the only one on the CPU connector and the other ones on a CHA random connector on the motherboard. The cooler did come pre-mounted, which is great. It's something I really care about, but in this case, since we were swapping out the fans, that wasn't really a plus for us, but it's a plus for you buying it. And it also has those pretty cool cable management things to cable manage your all-in-one, which I really like. Some people really dislike them. I like them. It's okay. And all the cables are white. I don't understand when brands make a white product, but then it has black cables because it is in contrast. And I'm saying this as someone who went with a black and white motherboard with a flat black sleeved PSU cables. But anyways, on to the case. The case has every single detail, from the USB-C connector to the USB 3.0 to the power connector, all sleeved white. And it's also great in the back for cable management. How you know it's great is if I do a build in it and then you take a look at it from behind and you're like, wow, it's cable managed. And the truth is, it's not cable managed, because I don't cable manage my stuff. I just tuck the cables away. And if it looks cable managed or very clean, then it's very good case. So I'm the ultimate benchmark for those kind of things. More about the case, basically you can put 2 intake fans on the bottom, then you have 3 intakes on the side, and then 3 outtake on the only one on top, plus 1 there. So we have a total of 5 intakes, 4 outtakes, slightly positive pressure. It's a very good cooling design. And this thing overall cools very well. Let me tell you guys, very well. And now we did put just an RTX 5060 in it, just because this is a PC that's budget constrained for a client. The perfect build would have been, it's what I recommend you guys, you do the same build, but with a slightly better GPUs, because this i5 can push a lot. It can push an RX 970 XT, fine. And if you're open to AMD, definitely get that, or a 9070 on XT. On the used market, of course, you can get a 4080, something along those lines, an RX 7900 XTX maybe, And for NVIDIA, I'd say get a 5070 would be the perfect match for this CPU, for 1080p. For higher res, of course, you can go higher, but for balanced stuff, 5070. Now, the power supply, which we chose here, is also something a bit unusual. So it's from Mars Gaming. I cover Mars Gaming a lot on the channel. You know, I like the brand. Now, they are among the cheapest power supplies on Amazon. They started out making terrible PSUs. They're now making decent ones. The thing is, they also started making good ones. This is not exactly what I would call good. It's decent, but it's modular, it's pretty heavy, the cables are good, and it comes in very cheap for what it is. Like, this is on the level of like a Deepcool PL650 PSU, PN650D PSU. Basically like your average mid-range PSU, like the Sharkoon Bronze, which you had back in the day. This is it now. And 750 watts on the 12 volt rail, it's pretty stable. That's more than plenty for all the way up to a 5070 Ti, I would say. Maybe with the Ti you're pushing it a little bit, but if you have this i5, that's why you can do it. I would say i5 and 5070, this PSU is perfect, and you're saving a lot of money there, so it's definitely recommended. Now, I didn't really talk about which SSD I got there. It's just a Samsung Gen 4 drive. It was a bit cheaper. My favorite drive to buy is the Kingston Envo 3. So I would say buy that one. It's just 1000 megabytes per second less, and it costs a lot less. So if you can get that one, this time it was out of stock, so I got this one. With all that said, how does a PC like this perform? Well, first of all, let's actually cover for a second the software of the only one, because it's a strange software, because you install it, then you don't see it. It's just running in the background. So the only one is not customizable. It just has these metrics on the screen. But hey, the only one market is hyper competitive. And since those things are so cheap, I'm not covering pricing too much, because it depends if they are distributed in your area. But if they are, you will find this case and only one combo are among the best value ones out there. But the thing is, you don't have really a customization software, but I don't really customize my stuff too much. I just set it once and leave it like that. So I can live with a static screen. Okay, it's pretty cool. That's a very good performer cooling wise. I'm talking crazy low performance. Okay, check out first of all the CPU Z score, which is very good on this i5. This is all stock, by the way. And then I'll show you the stock Firestrike score. The PC performs well, okay, we were expecting that, but check out the temperatures. Now we have a 20 degrees ambient environment here. It's not summer by any means, but seeing a CPU so cold is insane. And why it is important is because, as I cover on the channel, there's a lot you can do tuning wise. Even if you build a very good computer, if you don't spend time tuning it, it's a waste of money. Well, it's not really a waste of money, but you're leaving performance on the table. So if you go ahead and undervolt/overclock by unlocking all the power limits on this CPU, as I show my tutorials, you do the same to your GPU, whichever GPU you buy, and the same to your RAM. And then maybe you even overclock your controller if you're playing from a controller, or you do the timer resolution like I show in my tutorial, you will end up with a PC that's very, very fast. And a PC like this is gonna cost you, if you build it yourself, right over the $1,000 mark, probably even under if it wasn't for this RAM situation right now. And it looks really cool. PC looking like this just 2 or 3 years ago would have cost you double, $2,000. And it's ready for future upgrades. It's very good. You can drop in a Core Ultra 9 in the future and a much higher GPU, since the cooling is there, and I think it's the best configuration you can build today. But as usual in videos like these, please let me know what you guys think. Do you like the first player products? Do you like the build? Would you have changed anything, or do you think I should have gone AMD on this one? Let me know down below, and as usual, see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.